In this video I'm taking a look at the next part of the project of the pencil case and how to fit the base on the pencil case. So I'll start off by taking my 4mm ply, placing the piece on top of it from the squarest edge and just penciling the edge. Put an X mark to reference which side matches up to that. Take out the bench hook, place the piece into it and trim off the excess waste. Make sure that you use a low angle of cut on the saw, but not so much that it'll slide around on the top of the 4mm piece. So if you go in a little bit too flat, it slides around. So I match up my reference points, and there's a little bit of excess as well to allow for a piece to be trimmed off along the length of the piece again. I'm just going to mark that on, and I'm going to place that piece into the vise, and I'm going to trim it off using the block plane. So with the block plane, make sure that you always leave the plane down inside, as with other planes, otherwise you damage the blade and it has to be reset. And make sure that you run along the length of it as well, not lift it off once the blade has made its cut. So placing it, run right along the length of the piece. If you need a little bit to be taken off without going the full length, you can raise the piece off it, but that's the general move with the plane. Place the two of those back together. It should be flush on the ends and the sides. And now what I want to do is I want to hold that in place while I put in a couple of pins to start off with. Do not put them too close to the edge, but I'm going to pick opposing sides here. You can see there's a big knot placed here. It's not going to trouble me terribly, but for the first two pins I'm going to put in, you can see where I'm putting the pencil marks, and they're kind of across from the two initial pencil marks. Make sure that the piece is flush around the edges. Tap in the pin in both of those. If it's a little too tight, you can use the pincers to remove them back out a little bit. But these will be our pilot or guide holes, which will allow the piece to go back on. So once I've that done, I can take my glue and use an applicator that's on this particular glue bottle. Just place the glue straight onto it and spread it out nice and even using a little waste piece of material. You can still see the X, and the lead holes will just guide the piece back on so it's flush around the edges. Any excess glue, give it away with a wet cloth. And you can see that I'm positioning the nail directly opposite each other, going straight into the piece. It'll probably push out another little bit of glue here, and at the corners I'm going at roughly a 45-degree angle out onto the piece, making sure that the nail is roughly 9mm in from the edge, so it's not going to go out the side of the piece in either direction. And you can see the knot didn't give any trouble there, and I put an extra pin in the middle of each of these, and they're directly opposite each other. So that's pretty much the base being fitted. And clean the glue on the inside as well. There's no need to punch those nail heads. Once they're left flush with the top and they're tacked through, it'll be fine.